Today, I'm going to show you how to understand how to get business for your real estate business. If you're a real estate agent, brokerage, if you are a fiercepreneur, solopreneur, entrepreneur, small business owner, the basis of it all, and this is all evergreen information. This is not new. This is not something that changes with new technology over time. This is actually how you do it. This is something that you should be doing ongoing. Okay, let's just get to the meat of it. I know this diagram looks a little weird. Probably, maybe some of you can't read it, but that is okay. I will explain it. I am not a creative person. I can't draw and I clearly can't write either, but I did my best. So this circle here is what's called a pond. And all of your leads go into what's called a pond. And in that pond is your CRM. Okay, CRM is your customer relationship management software, but technically is anything that you use to organize your leads. What goes into the pond, what's considered leads, what is considered the leads that go in the pond into your CRM? Good question. Open house attendees, they go to your open house over the weekend, they fill out, I hope you have a form. Nope, I hope you have a tablet or something on your phone that's your sales funnel. They fill it out, name, email, and phone number, and it goes into the pond, into the CRM automatically with the tag that says open house attendee. And it would be great if you can also tag that particular open house address. That's in the pond. Your website goes into the pond, meaning those that go on your website, those folks that are on your website clicking around, looking for information, reading the contact about us, reading, if you're old school, you have some homes listed for sale on your website. If your new school is more of a sales funnel and it's more engaging, interactive, quizzes, puzzles, calculators, and by them having access to all of those information, they fill out a form and it gives you permission to contact them. Or even better, if we're in 2026 and beyond, they go on your website, they click around, they're looking at information, they're reading things. You have in the background a scraper that can get their name, email, and phone number without that particular person, groups, friends, family, or whoever is on there, without anyone entering the information onto a form. That scrape lead goes right here into the pond, into your CRM. You can get this information from ads. Some people say, hey, I want a shortcut. I want to just put 10K down on ads, or 200 per month, spend 6K a month on ads. Meta ads are probably the best way to shortcut your progress. Not to say that meta ads are the best ads. That's up for debate, and you would need to hire a consultant to help you get through that process, because meta ads, even just setting it up, the pixel, all of that is extremely complex. Content, social media content, LinkedIn, thought leadership posts, videos, images, any social media content that you create, blog writing, will go here. Anyone's interested, they fill out a form, they want more information, it goes here into the pond. They reply to your post. You may have some AI robots out there that can scrape their information from your social media, and this is 2026 and beyond technology. It'll go here into your CRM directly. You can buy leads. Oh, by the way, if anyone wants to know about AI robots scraping your social media, or AI technology scraping your website, reach out to me. My contact information is below, or you can fill out one of the forms that's under this video that says probably 9 AI tech tools you should use right away. Or you can reach out to me. I'll have a link to my calendar. You can book a call and we can talk more about it. But in the meantime, you can also buy leads. And when I say buy leads, that would be something buying leads from these referral services. If you're a realtor, or if you're in real estate, you probably get about 10 text messages per day prompting you to sign up with this referral system. They'll give you leads, you call them, they're good to go, you close them, and you give 30%, 35%, some 40%, 50% as a referral fee to that particular company. When, in my opinion, you can do the same thing they're doing and you don't have to pay a percentage, but then you would have to want to cold call, because that's what these folks are doing. They're cold calling, they're locking in that seller or buyer, and then they're selling you the lead for 30 or 40%. And then not only that, then you have to give your broker 30 or 40%. So, or whatever it is your split is, some are 10%, maybe some you get 90, I don't know. But if you want to cold call, there's no split with the referral company. The split is just with your broker, and that's cold calling, expires, FISBOs, and distressed property probate. You can add a link to your bio, make sure that bio is up to date. And anyone that visits homes.com, realtor.com, Zillow, all of those services allow you as a realtor, as a real estate agent, as a brokerage to have a free bio. And when folks go on those websites to look at listings, and those are the websites that folks really go on to look at listings, they're not going on to your 1990 website to look at listings. They're going to Zillow, Homes, Realtor.com, and Redfin. So it doesn't even make sense to have listings on your website. You should have a sales funnel that's interactive, like I talked about before, with games and quizzes and puzzles and calculators, with useful information, something that they can use in order to want to give you their information to go here to get that lead that will go into your CRM. Google My Business is the secret sauce, is the shortcut for you to be able to get your pond going, get the fish in the pond, the leads in the pond going, without having to cold call, without having to buy leads, without having to write content, pay for ads, redo your 1990 website, or sit hours at an open house. Google My Business will rank, and we could talk about rank in another video, another training video, but Google My Business will rank you on the top if you set up that Google My Business page right. And again, if you want to reach out to me, I can help you with that, give you some advice on how to do it. Now that we have everything here in the pond, and I'm probably missing some stuff. Oh yeah, webinar, seminars, networking events, meetups, missing all of that. These are also ways to fill up the pond so that you can fish in the pond for leads. And once you have that lead, that fish, what you want to do is make a call with them, send them an email, invite them in person so that they can hire you as a buyer agent or as a seller agent, and you can help them with all those things to have the transaction successful. At the end, you will get paid. They will either get their home, or they will also get paid by selling their home. And that's when the relationship begins. That's the beginning of the relationship, not the end. So the settlement day is the beginning of the relationship with your client. Why do I say so? Because there are so many different components that happen post-sale than prior to sale. Okay, so, and when you handle the beginning of the relationship correctly, you will have a client for life, along with their children, their friends, their families. You get those 5-star reviews and great referrals, and a great friendship is at the beginning at that settlement table. So we can talk about that in the future, but I just want to touch on a point here, because the beginning of a relationship begins with helping that seller transition into their new life, right? And making sure that the transaction really closed properly. Make sure that that wire transfer hit, or they got the check, that it cleared. Make sure that the title company records all of the information they need to record. Make sure the title company pays off that mortgage. If they had a mortgage, if they had a second mortgage, they get the payment satisfaction letter. Make sure all of those things are paid. You also want to make sure it's recorded right with the borough, township, city. You want to make sure that they get that 1099 at the end of the year, so that they can use those fees that they had to pay. If it applies as a tax write-off, you want them to have that document to give to their tax attorney. For the buyer, there's also so many things. When is gas? When is water bill paid? Do I pay the township? Do I pay a separate company? How many utility companies do I have? When do I set out my garbage? When do I set out the recycling? How many times do I set out trash and recycling? Can I set out a bulk item? How many? So all of those questions. Then, post inspection, licensing, changing the address, making sure they're getting all of their mail in the right way. If there's anything that needs to be created, like a fence or some type of construction to help them feel comfortable. Make sure you're referring legitimate contractors. Make sure that they're checking those references and referrals, because a relationship with a contractor is always just like the first time. You want to make sure that everything is done correctly. And so that's just an example of what the beginning of the relationship is. That is when you service that client post settlement. And when the relationship begins, you have so many things that you have to take care of to make sure that you're treating that client with dignity and respect, and you're serving them to the fullest, so that, one, they can be a client for life, a friend for life. And on top of that, you can be the realtor for the family, the realtor for the neighborhood, all the members and friends on